All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Now, before we get started, let me remind you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't forget to smash that notification bell because I don't want you to miss any of our lessons. And if you should feel so inclined to donate, check the description box below. There are a few options, either PayPal or CashApp. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump into our lesson. Now, this particular lesson is one of our high holy days, our annual holy days. So this is no ordinary lesson. This is one of our holy day lessons, and this is the first lesson that kicks off the Hebrew year in the spring. This is our Passover. The Passover is the first day, you could say, that kicks off the week of unleavened bread. So this is Passover, days of unleavened bread. This is the first day. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump in our lesson and start in Leviticus, or Wahikra. I'll be reading from the scriptures version of the Bible. Let's go ahead and jump into our lesson, if you will, at Leviticus, or Wahikra 23. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, the appointed times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as set apart gatherings. My appointed times are these. 6 days work is done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest, a set apart gathering. You do no work. It is the Sabbath to Yahweh in all your dwellings. These are the appointed times of Yahweh, set apart gatherings which you are to proclaim at their appointed times. In the first new moon," which is what we're observing, guys, "on the 14th day of the new moon, new month, between the evenings at evening, is the Pascha, or the Passover of Yahweh. And on the 15th day of the new moon is the festival of Matzot to Yahweh. 7 days you eat unleavened bread." See how they put it together? The 14th day and the 15th day, right? It's Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, or the Days of Unleavened Bread, right? Festival of Matzot to Yahweh. 7 days you eat unleavened bread. On the first day, you have a set apart gathering. You do no servile work. Okay, so that's how they did it back then. They start the Passover. Now, of course, you're going to go and slaughter a lamb and all that, but we're talking about when Passover started, right? So these are these holy days. Now we're going to go over to Shemot, or Exodus. Okay. We're going to go to Exodus, and we're going to go to Exodus 12, chapter 12. Exodus chapter 12, we're going to start at verse 11. We're going to start at verse 11. So we're going to talk about this first Passover, if you will. "And this is how you eat it. Your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Pascha of Yahweh. And I shall pass through the land of Mitzrayim on that night, and shall strike all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both man and beast. And all the mighty ones of Mitzrayim I shall execute judgment. I am Yahweh. And the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are, and when I see the blood, I shall pass over you. And let the plague not come on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Mitzrayim. And this day shall become to you a remembrance. And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahweh throughout your generations. Celebrate it as a festival, an everlasting law. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Indeed, on the first day you cause leaven to cease from your houses. For whosoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that being shall be cut off from Israel. And on the first day in a set apart gathering, and on the seventh day you have a set apart gathering. No work at all is done on them, only that which is eaten by every being, that alone is prepared by you. And you shall guard the festival of Matzah, for on this same day I brought your divisions out of the land of Mitzrayim, and ye shall guard this day throughout your generations, an everlasting law. In the first month, and on the 14th day of the new moon, in the evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the new moon in the evening. For 7 days no leaven is to be found in your houses, for if anyone eats what is leavened, that same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether sojourner or native of the land. Do not eat that which is leavened in all your dwellings. You are to eat unleavened bread. And Moshe called for all the elders of Israel and said to them, go out and take the lambs for yourselves according to your clans, and slay the Passah. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two doorposts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning. And Yahweh passed on to smite the Mizrites, and shall see the blood on the lintel and on the two doorposts, and Yahweh shall pass over the door and not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to smite you. And ye shall guard this word as a law for you and your sons forever. And it shall be, when you come to the land which Yahweh gives you, as he promised, that you shall guard this service. And it shall be, when your children say to you, what does this service mean to you? And you shall say, it is the Passah slaughtering of Yahweh, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Mitzrayim, when he smote the Mizrites and delivered our households. And the people bowed their heads and did obeisance. And the children of Israel went away and did so, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe and Aaron. So they did. And it came to be at midnight that Yahweh struck all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, for the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captives who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Mizrites. And there was a great cry in Mitzrayim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Then he called for Moshe and Aaron by night and said, arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahweh as you have said. Take both your flocks and your herds as you have said, and go, then ye shall bless me too. And the Mizrites were strong on the people to hasten to send them away out of the land, for they said, we are all dying. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound up in their garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moshe, and they had asked from the Mizrites objects of silver and objects of gold and garments. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mizrites, so that they gave them what they asked. They plundered the Mizrites. And the children of Israel set out from Ramesses and Sukkot, about 600,000 men on foot, besides the little ones. And a mixed multitude went up with them too, also flocks and herds, very much livestock. The mixed multitude is not just Israel. There were some other people who had grafted themselves in with Israel, namely Egyptians, among others. 39. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they had brought out of Mitzrayim, for it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mitzrayim and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves. Okay, so we're looking at the first Passover in remembrance of the deliverance that the Most High gave them in Egypt. And so for those of us who want to memorialize this, it is a festival, it is a law. And notice, this first time, wasn't in Israel. This first time wasn't at the temple. So you will get people who say, well, we can't do it now because, we're not in Israel. We're not at the temple. Well, they were not either. According to the very first one, they were not either. Not to mention they observed it, 40 years in the wilderness every year. So the first 40 years of observing it was not in Israel. That's another case. That's a whole different case. Let's just keep on moving. We'll let them marinate on that. It's possible to do this in remembrance. But if you don't want to do it, then just say that. 16. Matthew 16, 6 through 12. And Yeshua said to them, mind and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, because we brought no bread. Now this is Matthew 16. I'm starting at verse 6. I'm going to read 6 through 12. But Yeshua, aware of this, said to them, O you of little belief, why do you reason among yourselves because you brought no bread? Do you still not understand? Neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets you picked up? Or the 7 loaves or the 4,000 and how many large baskets you picked up? How is it that you do not understand that I did not speak to you concerning bread, but to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees? Then they understood that he did not say to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the teachings of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And that's exactly what we look at these things. We look at these little adages, these little metaphors, these little references. He's trying to teach us a lesson. And right now we have to do the same thing. We have to be aware today. We have to be aware of some of the teachings. Some of us, I encourage people to search the scriptures and prove all things, do some study. But sometimes people need some guides. I've met so many people who go off on their own and they completely just leave the faith altogether, or they get high-minded and they come up with brand new forms of doctrine. I'm talking alien forms of doctrine. They just come up with some stuff. So we have to beware of, self-deception. We have to beware of false teachers. We have to be aware of these things because it can lead us astray. See, the danger sometimes is our ego, and we feel like, hey, we know something else, or we know something someone else doesn't know. Or we're just experts, or we're just biblical scholars all of a sudden. Instead of just being eternal students. Coming to Yeshua like babes. Always learning, wherever. Just always wanting to know, always wanting to know or able to be corrected. Let's put it that way. We have to be able to be corrected. We have to be a little bit malleable. Then once something is solid and is concrete, you're set. But we have to be aware. A lot of false brethren out there, a lot of false teachers out there. We have got to test the spirits. Let's go on over to Mark. We're going to go to Mark chapter 8. Mark chapter 8. And we'll start at verse 11 to 21. Mark 8, 11 to 21. And they ate and were satisfied, and they picked up 7 large baskets of broken pieces. And those eating were about 4,000, and he dismissed them. And immediately entering into the boat with his taught ones, he came to the parts of Dalmanuta. And the Pharisees came out and began to dispute with him, seeking from him a sign from heaven, trying him. And sighing deeply in his spirit, he said, why does this generation seek a sign? Truly, I say to you, no sign shall be given to this generation. And leaving them again, entering into the boat, he went away to the other side, and they had forgotten to take bread. And they did not have more than one loaf with them in the boat. And he was warning them, saying, mind, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herodes. And they were reasoning with one another, saying, because we have no bread. And Yeshua, being aware of it, said to them, why do you reason because you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive nor understand? Is your heart still hardened? Having eyes, do you not see? Having ears, do you not hear? And do you not remember? When I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many baskets filled with broken pieces did you pick up? And they said to him, 12. And when I broke the 7 for the 4,000, how many large baskets filled with broken pieces did you pick up? And they said 7. And he said unto them, how do you not understand? So I pause to note here. I want people to understand that the scriptures are always trying to tell us something. It's always trying to relay something to us. It's the truth of the Bible is always unfolding. It's always trying to teach us something. Problem is, will we listen? Will we get it? It's always trying to give us a clue if we simply pay attention. Let's go on over to Numbers or Bar Mikvah 33. Let's go to Numbers 33. Numbers 33. Is it, why do you not understand? See, that's what these holy days are about. For those who are not getting it, not quite understanding, that's what they are about. These holy days are teaching us, pointing us in a certain direction, teaching us the Most High plan of salvation. If any of you guys seen my holy day lessons before, I say this every time. This is what we're missing when we don't observe, study something with these holy days. Something. It's trying to let us know what is going on. What is in the Most High's plan of salvation. This is what it is laid out when you just look at each of these holy days and what they mean. I encourage anyone to just keep studying these. This is just an hour lesson. I get a nice bit of it, but there's more to learn. I get a nice chunk of it. But there is certainly more to learn when it comes to these holy days. Outlined in the Bible. We give so much credence, we give so much attention. Obviously, I don't blame you necessarily, because this is how we were raised in the pagan holidays. We learn about those. Half the time we don't learn the truth, but we learn about those. And we don't give a whole lot of study to what the Most High actually wants us to observe. Now, I blame you if you are an adult, because now you have the volition. You can observe pagan holidays if you want, or not. You can choose to change that. You can trade in your Easter and go with Passover. That's up to you if you're an adult looking at this video. Right? Let's go to Numbers 33. Let's read the first 3 verses. These are the departures of the children of Israel who went out of the land of Mitzrayim by their divisions under the hand of Moshe and Aharon. And Moshe wrote down the starting points of their departures at the mouth of Yahweh. And these are their departures according to their starting points. So they departed from Ramesses in the first new moon on the 15th day of the first new moon or new month On the morrow of the Passah, right? That's the unleavened bread. The children of Israel went out with boldness before the eyes of all the Mitzrayites, right? Just letting you know when it happened. 14-day Passover, 15th day, very next evening, very next night was unleavened bread of matzah. Okay? So we're going to go back to Exodus or Shemot, and we are going to chapter 13. Chapter 13. And when we get there, we want the first 10 verses of chapter 13. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, set apart to me all the firstborn, and one opening the womb among the children of Israel, among man and among beast. It is mine. And Moshe said to the people, remember this day in which you went out of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. For by strength of the hand of Yahweh brought you out of this place, and whatever is leavened shall not be eaten. Today you are going out in the new moon, Abib. And it shall be, when Yahweh brings you into the land of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, but he swore to your fathers to give you a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this new moon. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day it is a festival to Yahweh. Unleavened bread is to be eaten the 7 days, and whatsoever is leavened is not to be eaten with you. And leaven is not to be seen with you within all your border. And you shall inform your son in the day, saying, it is because of what Yahweh did for me when I came up from Mitzrayim. And it shall be as a sign to you on your hand and as a reminder between your eyes, that the Torah of Yahweh is to be in your mouth. For with a strong hand Yahweh has brought you out of Mitzrayim. And you shall guard this law at its appointed time from year to year. You shall guard it in this appointed time from year to year. You're going to observe it from year to year. Now, I recommend you observe it, but if you do not, at least understand what it is. At least understand the significance and get the gravitas. Let me look back at Exodus 12. I just want to read verse 19. For 7 days no leaven is to be found in your houses, for if anyone eats what is leavened, the same being shall be cut off from the generation of Israel, whether sojourner or native to the land. Okay, so we're focusing on Passover, but just so you know, when it comes to unleavened bread, which will be in the next lesson, when it comes to unleavened bread, you are to not have leaven in your dwellings. No leaven. I'm not going to harp on that right now because we got a whole lesson for that later, right? So let's go to Isaiah or Yeshayahu, Isaiah 66. Let's go to Isaiah 66. Isaiah, let's see, 66, and we want verses 2 and 3. Isaiah 66, and it says, and all these my hand has made, and all these that exist, declares Yahweh. Yet to such a one I look, on him who is poor and bruised of spirit, and who trembles at my word. But whoever slays the bull strikes a man. Whoever slaughters a lamb breaks a dog's neck. Whoever brings a grain offering, pig's blood. Whoever burns incense blesses an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own ways, and their being delights in their abominations, meaning they wanted to do it the way they wanted to do it. This is when he said, I hate what you guys are doing because you're doing what you want to do and you're not doing things the way I described it. This is basically what he's saying to Israel. And so if they knew exactly what to do and they had explicit instructions and had someone like Moses to tell them what to do and what not to do, and some of them went astray, especially when you're talking about going in Isaiah's day, and they go astray and went about to establish their own righteousness, if you will, and want to do it their own way, of course, the Most High is not going to like it. See, the thing is, I heard in the past, like someone said, well, no, it's got to where the Most High, he didn't like them holy days. He don't want them holy days no more, whatever. I said, no. He didn't like what they were doing. He didn't like how they were doing it. He was like, because he didn't like the fact that they wanted to go about and do it their own way. Where they like they wanted to offer their own strange fire, like Nadab and Abihu. They wanted to do their own thing. Not according to what he said. That's what he hates. That's what he rejects. Now, some of us will try to do some of these things, and we'll do it wrong. It'll be completely out of ignorance because we don't have Moses to tell us. So I get it. But to completely disregard, no, no, it's a no for me, dog. Not doing that. We're still in Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to the first chapter. Isaiah 1. We're going to read 11 through 15. Of what use to me are your many slaughterings, declares Yahweh. I have had enough of ascending offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts. I do not delight in the blood of bulls or of lambs or goats. When you come to appear before me, who has required this from your hand to trample my courtyards? Stop bringing futile offerings, incense. It is an abomination to me. New moon, Sabbaths, the calling of gatherings. I am unable to bear unrighteousness and assembly. He's talking about when you go and do it your own way. My being hates your new moons and your appointed times. They are a trouble to me. I am weary of bearing them. And when you spread out your hands, I hide my eyes from you. Even though you make many prayers, I do not hear. Your hands have become filled with blood. But see, when we read in Leviticus 23, when we read in Vayikra, where he's saying, these are my feasts. He didn't say I hate my feasts here. He said I hate yours. I don't like your new moons. He said, who asked for this? In verse 12, when you come to appear before me, who has required this from your hand to trample my courtyards? Stop bringing futile offerings, incense is abomination to me. New moon, Sabbaths, the calling of gatherings. I am unable to bear unrighteousness and assembly. He said, I don't like that. And 14 said, my being hates your new moons and your appointed time. They are a trouble to me. I am weary of bearing them. Yours. I hate yours. That's what he's saying. Let's not get this twisted. I don't like yours. Because if you do it your way, it is yours. And I don't accept it. You do it when you want, your appointed times, your set apart times, right? You move it to a day you want. This other day is a little more convenient. That's on you, right? Now we don't go slaughtering a lamb because we have a Messiah. Being a messianic ministry, we have a Messiah. So we don't have to go slaughter a lamb. Now, some people, they have a lamb for dinner, but that's not the sacrifice. That's just have a meal. Memorial means nothing. We got Messiah. Okay? You can have some lamb if you want. You ain't got to slaughter or nothing like that, but you get the point. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people out there, they try to do the whole 9 yards. Of course, we can't do it exactly right, But yeah, they'll go grab a lamb. They try to inspect it. They try to make sure there's no spot, no blemish. They want to slaughter it, try to do everything in a kosher way. I get it. Oh, I get it. Indeed, I do. I get it. But if you're Messianic, you know that's not, your hope doesn't lie within that. Other bulls and goats could never with those sacrifices take away sin. So yeah. And Christ being our Passover definitely died for the sins of the world, being sacrificed, right? So we are in Exodus 20. Exodus 20. Let's read the first 6 verses. Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make yourself a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them nor serve them, for I, Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me, but showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahweh, your Elohim, to naught. For Yahweh does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. Remember the Sabbath day to set it apart. 6 days you shall labor and shall do all your work. But the 7th day is a Sabbath of Yahweh, your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. Okay? This is how you observe and love the Most High. He's showing us exactly what he wants us to do, what he expects us to do. And I stop there. I mean, we can get into the, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt love mother and father, and all. We get all that, but we're just talking about how we focus on him. These are the things. This is what he wants us to do. Are these? This doesn't apply. We've got to keep this going, brothers and sisters. Our job is to be obedient. So let's continue. Let's go on over to Amos chapter 5. Amos chapter 5. We get to Amos 5, we're going to read 21 and 22. I have despised your festivals, and I am not pleased with your assemblies. Though you offer me ascending offerings and your grain offerings, I do not accept them, nor do I look on your fattened peace offerings. He said, I don't like yours. I want you guys to pay attention, because you're going to have someone come along. Well, we don't have to do that no more. Look, God even said, I don't even want it no more. I don't want yours. He wants his. He don't want yours. And I'm not talking about making offerings. Obviously, we don't make offerings, but you get what I'm saying. When you look at these holy days and you want to observe that, and you want to memorialize, and you want to pay respect to it, he didn't say he didn't want his. He said he didn't want yours. Let's keep going. It's going to go to Psalm or Tehillim. And when we get there, we're going to go Psalm 40, actually. Psalm 40. And let's see, Psalm 41 through 6. Psalm 41 through 6. I waited for Yahweh, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. And he drew me out of the pit of destruction, out of the muddy clay. And he set my feet upon a rock. He is establishing my steps. Then he put a new song in my mouth, praise to our Elohim. Many do see it and fear and trust in Yahweh. Blessed is that man who has made Yahweh his trust and has not turned to the proud and those turning aside of falsehood. O Yahweh, my Elohim, many are the wonders which you have done in your purposes toward us. There's no one to compare with you. I declare and speak, there are too many to be numbered. Slaughtering and meal offerings you did not desire. You have opened my ears. Ascending offerings and sin offerings you did not ask for. You actually asked for our obedience. Obedience is better than sacrifice, but that's another lesson. Let's keep going, brothers and sisters. Let's keep going. I'm going to go to Hebrew. Now, in the Septuagint, we know that, it's a body has thou prepared for me, right? But let's go over to Ibrahim or Hebrews. I'm going to go to Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews chapter 10. And when we get to chapter 10 of Hebrews, we want the first 6 verses. Hebrews chapter 10, we want the first 6 verses. It says, for the Torah, having a shadow of good matters to come, and not the image itself of the matters, not never able to make perfect those who draw near with the same slaughter offerings which they offer continually year by year. Otherwise, would they not have ceased to be offered? Because those who served, once cleansed, would have no more consciousness of sin. Meaning, if it would have worked, you wouldn't have to do it over and over and over, year by year by year by year. Those sacrifices. Okay, bulls and goats, right? But in those offerings is a reminder of sin year by year. Correct. Verse 4. For it is impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sins. Therefore, coming into the world, he says, slaughterings and meal offerings you did not desire, but a body you have prepared for me. That's in the Septuagint. In ascending offerings and offerings for sin you did not delight. Then I said, see, I come. In the roll of the book, it has been written concerning me to do your desire, O Elohim. Saying above, slaughtering meal offerings and ascending offerings and offerings for sin, you did not desire nor delighted in, which are offered according to the Torah, which are offered according to the Torah. Okay? So we're starting to get an idea of what's going on here. That this whole Passover idea, okay, this whole Passover idea was started in the law and the prophets. And we learned that it is foreshadowing the coming of this one lamb, this one sacrifice, that is going to be a sacrifice once and for all. It's prophesied that this one last sacrifice, which is what Paul is trying to get people, or at least this writer of the author of Hebrews, whoever that may be. There's dispute, but whatever. Whoever the author of Hebrews is basically trying to say that the Messiah is that ultimate lamb. Because the blood of bulls and goats could never take it away. Are we starting to understand? Are we starting to get it? We're going to keep going. Going to go back to Isaiah or Yeshayahu 53. Let's look at this suffering servant, if you will. Isaiah 53. We'll read it from Scriptures version. And we'll just read all of Isaiah 53. Just read all of it. Who has believed our report? And to whom was the arm of Yahweh revealed? For he grew up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of the dry ground. He has no form or splendor that we should look upon him, nor appearance that we should desire him. Despised and rejected by men, a man of pains and knowing sickness, and as one from whom the face is hidden, being despised, and as we did not consider him. Truly, he has borne our sickness and carried our pains. Yet we reckon him smitten, stricken by Elohim, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our crookedness. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. We all, like sheep, went astray. Each one of us has turned to his own way, and Yahweh has laid on him the crookedness of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, but he did not open his mouth. He was led as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before his shearers is silent, but he did not open his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment. And as for his generation, who considered that he shall be cut off from the land of the living, for the transgression of my people he was stricken, and he was appointed a burial site with the wrong, and with the rich at his death, because he had done no violence, nor was deceit in his mouth. But Yahweh was pleased to crush him, and he laid sickness on him, that when he made himself an offering for guilt, he would see a seed. He would prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahweh prospered in his hand. He would see the result of the suffering of his life and be satisfied. And through his knowledge, my righteous servant makes many righteous, and he bears their crookedness. Therefore, I give him a portion among the great, and he divides the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his being unto death. And he was counted with the transgressors, and he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. Isaiah 53. The Lamb. For Christ, our Passover. That's what we're dealing with. This is the Messiah. This is our Passover. This is what it means when we put the scriptures together, line by line, here a little and there a little. Then it makes sense. It's important for us to know whom we serve, who we're dealing with. Let's continue. Let's go on over to Zephaniah. Zephaniah 9, then 9 and 11. Did I go the right one? Zephaniah. I definitely. Okay, not Zephaniah. Sorry. Let me see here. Give me a second. It must be Zechariah. So we'll try Zechariah. It must be Zechariah. And I want 9 and 9. 9 and 9. Let's see here. I gotta remove that note because I'll go somewhere I should not go. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we're here now. Zechariah 9 and then 9. Here we go. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. See, your sovereign is coming to you, and he is righteous and endowed with deliverance, humble and riding on a donkey, a colt, the foal of a donkey. Okay, so it's 9. Drop to 11. Also you, because of the blood of your covenant, I shall send your prisoners out of the pit. This is the deliverance that we're talking about, brothers and sisters. The deliverance. It's Passover. Everything he's going to come. Now, you know what some people confuse, brothers and sisters, is that they confuse his first coming. I mean, the first time he came in the flesh, they thought everything was going to be done and complete and Israel's going to get back the kingdom and stuff like, no. We have to do this whole Passover thing first. We have to do this whole Passover thing. Right? And people they're not understanding that. That's why they're like, well, he can't be the Messiah because he didn't do this, he didn't do that. And they conflate his first and second coming because they don't split it. It's just one. When the Messiah shows up, he's supposed to do all this, take back the kingdom. Israel's on top, thy kingdom come, all that other stuff. So Christ can't be it because he didn't do that. Even the disciples, they asked him, will you at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? It wasn't at that time. And that was not the time. What the time was, what he came to do was to be our Passover. Because he knew what was about to happen in a little over 3 decades in 70 AD. He knew what was about, he prophesied it. The Messiah, that is. He knew what was about to happen. So we had to get this whole Passover thing taken care of first before the destruction of the temple and in Jerusalem. A couple things had to be done first. Matthew 21. Matthew 21. And when we get to Matthew 21, we just want 1 through 5. And when they had came near to Jerusalem and came to Bethphage at the Mount of Olives, then Yeshua sent 2 taught ones, saying to them, go into the village opposite you, and straightway ye shall find a donkey tied, and a colt with her. Loosen them and bring them to me. And if anyone says whatever to you, you shall say the master needs them, and immediately he shall send them. And all this took place that it might be fulfilled what was spoken by the prophet, saying, say to the daughter of Zion, see, your sovereign is coming to you, meek and sitting on a donkey, even a colt, and the foal of a donkey. Right? So he's just making sure prophecy is being fulfilled. Let's keep it going. We're going to go on over to John 8:21. Okay, John 8, and we're going to read 21 to 24, and then we'll jump around. John chapter 8. We're going to read 21 to 24. Therefore, Yeshua said to them again, I'm going away, and ye shall seek me, and ye shall die in your sin. Where I go, you are unable to come. Then the Yehudim said, shall he kill himself? Because he says, where I go, you are unable to come. And he said unto them, you are from below, and I am from above, and you are of this world, and I am not of this world. Therefore, I said to you that ye shall die in your sins, for if you do not believe that I am he, ye shall die in your sins. We have to believe. That's why we're messianic, right? We're going to drop down 31 and 36. So Yeshua said to those Yehudim who believed him, if you stay in my word, you are truly my taught ones, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. They answered him, We are the seed of Abraham and have been servants to no one at any time. How do you say you shall be free? And Yeshua answered them, truly, truly, I say to you, everyone doing sin is a servant to sin. And a servant does not stay in the house forever. A son stays forever. If then the Son makes you free, you shall be free indeed. If he saves us, if he gives us deliverance, if he pardons our sin, if he gives us everlasting life, if he adopts, makes us sons, then you're free indeed. Let's keep it going. Go back to Matthew 20. Go back to Matthew. We'll go to chapter 20 and start at 25. And we'll read 25 to 28. But Yeshua called them near and said, you know that the rulers of the nations are masters over them, and those who are great exercise authority over them. But it shall not be so among you. But whoever wishes to become great among you, let him be your servant. And whosoever wishes to be the first among you, let him be your servant. Even as the son of Adam did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom of many. And as they were leaving Jericho, a large crowd followed him. And see, these two blind men sitting by the way, having heard that Yeshua was passing by, cried out, saying, have compassion on us, O Master, Son of David. Okay, so what we want to pluck out from here, some key takeaways, okay, that, as I said earlier, a lot of people, they want to have preeminence over everyone. It's to serve, okay? It's to serve. Teaching the word, delivering the word. Okay? Anybody who's standing behind the podium should not do it to have preeminence over you. It's simply, really, really, really simple. Feed the flock. That's really all it is. It's just to feed the flock. That's it. Bring you unto the Messiah. Bring you unto Christ. Bring you to Yeshua. Reason with you out of the scripture. That's the point there. That's what it is, being a servant. I picked up a few things in the Bible. Let me pass it on. Let me help someone who may be struggling with their understanding, right? It's okay. Let's go to Acts 20. Let's go to Acts 20. And we're going to read the first 6 verses. Acts 20, we're going to read the first 6 verses. And after the uproar had ceased, Shaul called the taught ones to him, and having embraced them, went away to go to Macedonia. And having gone through those parts, and having encouraged them with many words, he came to Greece, where he spent 3 months. When he was about to sail to Syria, he decided to return through Macedonia, as a plot was made against him by the Yahudim. And he was accompanied by Sopater of the Beroea, and Aristarchus and Secundus of the Thessalonians, and Gaius of Derbe, and Timotheus, and Tychicus, and Trophimus of Asia. Okay, so again, this is the scriptures version, guys, not the King James. And these, going ahead, waited for us at Troas. And we sailed away from Philippi after the days of unleavened bread and came to them in Troas in 5 days, where we stayed 7 days. Because they say, oh, well, it's the New Testament. We don't do that. Well, Paul was still observing it. He was still observing it. Still doing it. So it's not just an Old Testament thing. He was still doing it. Okay? So let's look at our last couple of places we want to go. So we're going to go to Exodus 23. Okay, let's go here real quick and we'll start to wrap it up. Exodus 23, we're going to read 14 through 16. 14, it says what? 3 times in a year you are to celebrate the festival to me. Guard the festival of Matzah. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, as I commanded you, at the appointed time in the new moon of Abib. For it you came out of Mitzrayim and did not appear before me empty-handed. And the festival of the harvest, the first fruit of your labors, which you have sown in the field, and the festival of ingathering at the outgoing of the year, when you have gathered in the fruit of your labors in the field. Okay, giving you guys an idea of how you celebrate it. 3 times. That's when people get together with family, or get together with camps or communities. They may have some land or something like that. And that's what they do. They get together and they observe. They have these feasts 3 times a year. You guys know the ministries out there. I mean, namely one of them, Straightway. Straightway, they'll have their feast days. They do it every year, right? Now, I'm not inviting you there. I have nothing to do with them. I can't say, oh, go over there. I'm just saying you can check. You can check with communities and camps and things like that if you want to observe with them. But you have to check with them. Again, I'm not inviting you because it's not my place to do that. So I'm just saying, look around, do a little research, and see if there's some communities out there that are observing that. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 5. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 5. 1 Corinthians 5, we're going to read the first 8 verses. Okay. 1 Corinthians 5, and then we will wrap it up. 1 Corinthians 5, first 8 verses. Now, it is commonly reported that there is whoring among you, and such whoring as it is not even named among the nations, so as one to have his father's wife. And you have been puffed up and did not rather mourn, so that he who has done this deed be removed from among you. For I indeed, as absent in the body but present in spirit, have already judged the one who did this, as though I were present. In the name of our Master Yeshua Messiah, when you are gathered together in my spirit with the power of the Master Yeshua Messiah, deliver such a one as Satan for destruction of the flesh, in order that his spirit be saved in the day of the Master Yeshua. Your boasting is not good. Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the entire lump? Therefore, cleanse out the old leaven, so that you are a new lump, as you are unleavened. For also Messiah, our Passover, or our Passah, was slaughtered for us. So then let us celebrate the festival, not with old leaven, nor with the leaven of evil and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. He still wanted to observe that. Now, as your homework assignment, I want you to read Deuteronomy 14, 22 through 26 to understand how they celebrated their gatherings. Now, this has been a lesson of Passover, the days of unleavened bread. And before we get out of here, let me remind you to like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't forget to smash that notification bell, because I don't want you to miss any of our lessons. And if you feel so inclined to donate, check the description box down below. You have a PayPal option, you have a CashApp option, completely up to you. Now, I hope someone has been edified by this particular lesson. It has been my honor and my sincere pleasure So until next time, search the scriptures and prove all things. Shalom, Israel.